Hello, everyone. This is Will.
This is Alex.
Welcome back to another episode of They Mostly Come Out at Night.
Clear your throat, bitch. Mostly.
You want to do that again?
No.
Okay.
Fuck
cool.
them.
First off, I just want to say thank you, 1976.
Thank you.
Thank you. You've made us believers. Like, seriously, we're being spoiled this year.
We are.
We've had so many good films for this podcast.
It's gold.
It's kind of insane.
It's finally happened.
I don't think we deserve it, really.
And guess what? It happened again.
Yeah, it happened again. We got another fucking good one.
We got another winner.
Like, holy shit.
Another winner has emerged.
I cannot believe it. Like, this was a fucking ride, to say the least. This was awesome.
A ride?
Yeah, see what I did there? See what I fucking did there?
Got him. This was a ride.
Oh man, this was really good. I loved the stunts in this.
This was a ton of fun.
My God, was it a fucking...
You know that word? Fun?
Yeah?
You remember fun?
I do remember fun. I mean, you know, from the last episode, you wouldn't think that we remember the word fun.
I don't.
Because of how dead we felt.
I feel it now.
I do. I
feel
again.
the love in my heart.
I finally feel it again. Because, like, listening to our last episode and listening to this one is going to be like night and day. We feel like we just want to end it the entire time on the last one.
Well, some people get it, and some people don't.
Yeah.
And this movie gets it.
Now, I will say it's a travesty that this particular movie is lower rated than the movie we watched last time.
Apparently, people like their pretentious bullshit.
I don't get why.
I like my shit with minimum.
Dude, I barely remember what even fucking happened in that last movie.
You know what happened in that movie, Will? Nothing.
Seriously, I'm struggling to recall what happened in that movie.
Not a goddamn thing.
Yeah.
Straight up, not a goddamn thing. This movie has all the happenings.
It has so much meat and no fat.
No.
They literally don't, like, it does not stop until the end.
It doesn't. It's a nonstop ride.
There is so much content here. It's insane. I love it.
They just keep throwing things at you, and it's awesome.
So movie we watched tonight is called Crash with an exclamation point at the end of it.
Yeah. Exclamation mark at the end.
Not to be mistaken with the other Crash that was made.
Or the other Crash.
There's so many movies. I feel like there's a lot of movies named Crash.
There are, but there aren't any other movies with Crash that have a exclamation point at the end.
It's true. From 1976.
And this sets this one apart.
Yeah. And my God, it was fucking fun as shit.
This is great.
It was really awesome.
This is great. Like,
dude, like I seriously, like, again, it come like in 1976 we've had so many of these movies that, like, they don't deserve to be on this podcast,
but they are.
I feel ashamed that we even have to review it on this podcast where we review and critique like shit movies because it's not a shit movie.
To some people, this is a shit movie, but I know.
I wonder if the low rating is like not a lot of people have seen it, and the people who did see it like just didn't fucking get it.
It's possible.
Like, I wonder if that's what's happening with these movies, because like that's the only thing I can think of.
It's possible, but I don't know. This thing gets me.
Yeah. No, it does. Like, this is the kind of like movie that I didn't know I wanted.
Yeah. But it exists.
We found another diamond in the rough, man.
It exists.
We found another one. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let's get into Crash from 1976. Alrighty, so first part is the worst part, actually, because it made me think that it was going to be a bad movie, but it totally flipped the script on that. So
did it though, Will?
The script on that.
Did it though? You're in like the slow-mo shot of the car,
dude. It seemed like such a shit movie at the beginning.
It starts with a slow-mo zoomed-in shot of this car.
Like a freeze frame, and then it slowly goes into like full motion. And then black.
And then black.
And then a song starts playing. and you wait a good like probably 15 seconds. Like it seems like a long time.
It is a long time
until the like opening credits finally start scrolling.
We thought the movie was broken.
Yeah.
We straight up thought like
I was like about to go check and see if the video was okay. I was like,
Yeah.
Is there something wrong with my TV? And then it was a beep, and like
then the credits come up.
Yes.
And we go through the credits, and we get this like hippie van just driving down the road.
It's a guy and a girl, and they're just traveling off road, like cross country.
Everything's normal.
Doesn't matter what they're talking about, but
well, they weren't even talking.
That's true.
She just turns on the radio and kind of just leans back. But
well, he says like we're almost there.
Yeah,
because I think they're just going somewhere, obviously.
And this car just shows up and like just starts ramming them.
Yeah, like for no reason, and then like it like crashes into them, and then they veer off this little tiny hill and go
crash
off
into
of
a tree and explode.
And the car explodes. I should mention all the explosions are real in this movie.
No shit.
Well, I mean it's 76, so all the explosions had to be real. They didn't really have that technology.
I mean, I guess they could have cheaped out and used like stock footage, but no.
But no, they're all real, and it's all real cars. Like I mean, these are real cars that they're exploding, and like
it's all there.
The dummy work is the best in this scene.
Oh yeah.
Because you could tell it's like dummies like bouncing around in there.
The best part is when the car explodes, you see a dummy just fly
like ragdoll
in the air. It's art. And again, starting your movie with an explosion in the first
like not even like 5 minutes,
3 minutes.
Yeah, seriously.
That's a good way to.
I was like, okay, I'm in.
It's a good way to. It's a good way to win me over.
It's a good way to win both of us over.
And I was like, okay, we'll just go with it.
So then it shows a woman. So right after it shows a woman just shopping at like a flea market, and she's looking around and like like searching.
And it's
for
playing like
stuff.
It's playing like smooth jazz.
This whole soundtrack is smooth jazz, but I loved it.
Yeah, and it's playing like smooth jazz as she walks around this like kind of swap meet, I guess.
So she goes to this random like seller, and he has this like keychain of like a almost like a deity, almost like it's a statuette of something.
It's like it looks like a cyclops. It has like one eye, and it kind of like we get the cyclops vision.
She's like drawn.
It looks at her.
She's drawn to it.
Yeah.
So she mentions that her husband would know what it is and like how much does he want for it,
and that he'd appreciate it.
Yes. So she's like, how much do you want for it? He's like 30, and she's like, how about 20? And he's like 22. Not that this matters really, but like so she buys it and then she leaves the swap meet.
We get a zoom in of his eyes.
Yeah, as he just blinking and looking.
He knows. I don't fucking know.
Maybe he knows. I think they're like alluding to the fact that maybe he knew.
He's a fucking troll.
Was just trying to get rid of it.
He's a troll, and so she buys it. Then we get like home movie footage.
Yeah, it's like the girl and this older guy
playing tennis,
and they're like having a lot of fun. They're teasing each other and like smacking the ball and stuff. And then she gets home, and this guy.
But we see this guy like watching it, and then we get like a. He's in a wheelchair, and he like grips his wheelchair. We get like noises of like a car skidding, and him saying like "look out."
Right.
So presumably he's in the wheelchair because of this car accident.
Right. But we don't know anything about it. So she comes home and sees him watching the movies and just leaves him alone.
Because we find out why.
Why she leaves him alone.
Because in this next part, he comes to her, and he is immediately salty. Immediately like, oh, you finally decided to like come back home after like spending all day outside and blah blah blah. Just everything he says to her is like some.
Like, you need to stay in the house and never leave.
Never leave. Like, just everything he says to her is some, like, mean remark.
Yeah. So then she goes to, like, the sauna, and he's still saying, like, oh, blah. So she gives him the present and says, like, I got you something. And, like, I just...
She gives it to him and then goes to the sauna. But he comes to the sauna and then throws it back at her, saying, like, I don't want your presents.
Yeah, like, like, don't
give me anything.
Don't pity me or something like that. Like, I know what you're doing out there and stuff. He's a total dick.
Yeah.
Like, they just established right away that he is a complete asshole.
That he's a douche canoe. And he tries to, like... He, like, just tries to, like, stop her from, like, getting out of the sauna and all this stuff. just being a total asshole. But then we cut back to,
and we get a feeling for like he's angry at her.
He blames her
for the crash.
For the crash and for putting him in the wheelchair and making him like a fucking recluse.
Yep.
But even though she's not like,
she even mentions at one point that they should go out and do stuff, and he's like, yeah, like who wants to see a cripple out in the world and stuff? He's a total dick. So now we get a scene of a guy like he's like buying something from this like
getting gas.
Sorry, gas.
And he's talking to a detective talking about he's gonna go down to his farm and get these fucking kids off of his property.
Yeah, so he starts driving off, and then the car zooms by.
And he's like, "Oh, you asshole! Like, I'll get you."
So he gets road rage and starts chasing it.
And then he drives right up to it.
Bad move.
Yeah, don't do
really
this.
Bad move.
He gets right up to it, sees there's no driver.
Now I want to say here, like every time they show the car, obviously there's no driver, but like the way they do it is really effective because it's like. I don't know how they did it.
I don't either.
I know it's movie magic, but I want to know like how they like made it so I don't know if they're like a remote control or something like that. I have no idea.
I have no clue.
But the wheel like turns and like you can't see. They even do like overhead shots and you can't see fucking anybody in that car.
Yeah.
Like no even like shots of like legs or anything like that.
Nothing.
It's crazy.
But yeah, he drives up to it. He sees there's no driver and it like essentially it rams him off the road, and he goes over like this. He flips his car
like over like a small hill
and explodes.
We get another explosion.
Another one.
Now again, you put one explosion in the first 3 minutes, you got me. You put 2 explosions in the first 15 minutes,
you got me.
You're making a fucking great movie.
After this, it cuts back to the woman, and she decides to go on a drive.
So he's still an asshole because he doesn't want her to leave. He's like. You know, he's like saying like all this mean shit and like saying like she'll never come back and she doesn't love him anymore.
She gets into the car. Now it's the same car that you see. Oh, by the way, every time you see that car doing shenanigans, it shows a milepost.
Yeah, of how close the car is to the place where they're staying.
We don't know that yet, but you just see like. It's like San Clemente, 37 miles. And then next time you see it, it's San Clemente, 32 miles. So it's getting closer to this place. But she gets into a car, and it's this car, mind you.
Basically established that the car has a destination.
Yes.
Of where it's going, because they wouldn't show the sign if they didn't. But
then she gets in this car, and we see it's the same car. Yes. Okay, this is important. But she goes on a drive.
And she's driving, and we see this dog like running,
through the
plains,
through like the hills, and it keeps running, and we see the car, we see the dog, and eventually, I thought that she was gonna like run the dog over or something.
You were so wrong.
I was very wrong. The dog jumps in the car
and like bites at her face
and starts attacking her.
Yes, and she like she loses control of the car and it flips and like rolls over this hill.
And we see like the car is flipped over. We see her face is all fucked up, like she's like scratched and cut.
She gets out of the car and is all like disoriented and like starts walking away from the crash. And then some like guy on the road like stops. Little known fact, that's actually the director.
Yeah, director
he
cameo.
Did a cameo.
He stops and then
she
ends up in the hospital.
He takes her to the hospital.
But after this, we see like the guy basically like bandaging this dog and being like, good boy, like,
you killed her, didn't you?
You killed her, you got her.
I was like, this guy's a total asshole. What if it was like just an accident that she like of course it was an accident that because there's no like she's completely innocent. Like she's not like a bad person at all. Like it's even established that it was probably like just a terrible accident.
Yeah.
Of why she crashed the car because she still doesn't like hate the guy. He totally hates her for some reason.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he just blames her for that.
But they take her to the hospital and she has the keychain, the Cyclops statue thing. She's like clutching it the whole time.
Yeah, so she won't let go of it, and they keep talking about how they're gonna have to do like reconstructive surgery and like, but they know like a really good plastic surgeon.
She's like wrapped in bandages and is completely catatonic.
Yes,
and just clutching this thing. Then
They also notice that she might have memory regression.
Yeah.
Like she might not remember anything, but she's not like conscious.
Yeah.
So
then we get
now we get the car driving again, and then a policeman sees it and decides to go after it.
Goes after it again, sees there's no driver. The car, it fucking like smacks him. He like runs over this hill, flips it a bunch of times, and the car just like drives past him.
No explosions this time, but that's okay because they're saving.
That's okay.
They're saving it.
Well, no explosions, but it's okay because the car flipped like 5 times. It's fine.
If you like movies where they destroy a bunch of cars, you'll love this movie.
Yeah. But then we get the doctor talking to the it's this doctor that we found earlier was like helping her at the hospital.
Yes.
And he talks to this cop, and they talk about how they can't find her car.
Right.
There's nothing else, but they talk about also how her wounds and things, it looks like an animal attack.
Right. Because there's like sharp things in her face and
possibly a dog or something.
A dog, yeah.
And then we get the old fuck watching the TV, and there's a news story
about a blonde woman
who was found
on the side of the road
in like the hills or whatever.
And he like instantly knows it's her.
And he's just like, "Oh, I guess you didn't quite kill her, huh?" As he's like petting his dog. So he goes to the hospital.
Yep. He loads up all his stuff. He goes to the hospital.
Gets his wheelchair and like kind of makes himself look like a
patient.
Like a patient.
And
he goes around. Finds her.
He goes into her room and he tries to take the statuette from her,
but he can't.
But she has it like in her clutches.
Yeah.
And so he goes over and like pulls off her breathing tube. And then, like, pulls out her IV so she bleeds.
She starts bleeding and
so he's
leaves.
Gonna basically make her bleed out.
And he leaves. But as he's leaving, we see the blood is, like, flowing down her arm, and it's touching the little statue thing.
Yes.
But it doesn't work. Of course. We're only, like, 25 minutes in the movie. We know she's not going to die. And more insanity is going to happen.
And right, the next scene it does. So now the car's driving again.
And there's more cops.
And the cops, try and cut off. So they know that there's this high speed car going around. By now, they all know.
So there's 3 cars now. So
there's 3 cops going to try and, cut it off.
And instead, it, drives up this hill and,
blows, dirt all over
dirt in their fucking... And they all just collide.
One of them rolls off the the side of the road, and then another one lands on top of it, and then the other one just lands on top of those 3 cars, and just
And you know what's awesome? Because they repeat the shots.
Yes.
From they'll show a shot from one angle, and then they'll show it from another one, because that's how awesome it is. And I'm not being jokey. When they started repeating the shots, I was just like, okay, this gets me.
It was awesome.
It understands.
So the doctor is talking about the attempted murder, and they're all trying to figure out who would want to because he knows that she couldn't have accidentally knocked out her IV or anything.
But then and they talk about moving her to a more secure room and always having someone watch her.
And basically, is this where the nurse says that she'll take her to her house when she's conscious or whatever?
That's later.
Okay.
But this is when he decides to look into the statue.
Yes. So he wants to find out. So he calls a scholar.
Yeah.
At a professor at a university, and wants to know where this thing came from.
Yeah.
What's behind it? Because he's suspicious about the statuette.
And he talks to this guy. He goes to meet him.
Because he drew a picture of it.
Yeah. And he tells him, I don't know quite, what it is just from the drawing, but I can tell you that it looks like this thing. And he tells him a name. And we've seen earlier that when she's catatonic, the lady will sometimes whisper, this phrase.
Yep.
And it's the exact phrase that he tells him. And he tells him that it's a deity or an idol that represents vengeance.
Vengeance and anger, I think he says.
Yeah.
Yeah. It usually infects the soul of someone innocent, he says.
Well, no,
in lore,
Well, no, he says that it has no regard for innocent lives.
Yeah. But I thought he said something about innocent people are more susceptible to it or something like that.
No, just that it's basically explaining why the car is, it's why is the car blowing the living fuck out of everybody? Well, why is everybody crashing? Because it has no fucks to give for innocence in its path for vengeance.
Then we get a shot. The next scene is like this weird like fisheye lens, but like it's like kind of blurry.
Oh yeah,
and like it's looking around like the hospital room, and like we're like assuming because it's
the eye of the statue.
It's the eye of the statue, and it's looking around, and then like the woman like opens her eyes, and they're like just blood red.
They're blood red, like,
and she like starts looking around, and like
she throws it. She throws the
statuette,
and it like lands on
like clings to the one of the
wheelchair.
And the wheelchair like starts violently moving around.
We see her start controlling it.
Yes.
Because she like moves her head to the right. The wheelchair moves to the right. She moves to the left and moves to the left. And she just starts like fucking running the wheelchair around the room and just smashing into everything. While her eyes are just blood red.
It's kind of a creepy image, actually.
It's a creepy fucking image. And it doesn't look very comfortable.
No.
For the actress.
No, it does not.
But it's fucking creepy.
But
and
it makes it even creepier that she looks so uncomfortable, too.
Yeah. As she just like fucking smashes this wheelchair around. But then after this, she wakes up. Like she's out of her catatonic state. And one of the nurses talks about like how, the room was completely like just a complete mess, but we didn't like no one came in there or anything.
Right, and like the doctor is even more worried now because he felt like maybe someone tried to get in again. Yeah. And so they say basically they're going to transfer her to the nurse's house.
She's going to stay there until as she heals.
Because it's a safe place that no one really knows about, right?
She'll stay there as they try to help her regain her memory.
But before that, we get the car driving again, and then
more
another
insanity.
Cop goes after it.
We get another cop car going after it, and there's like a construction there's like a construction site thing, like road construction, and the car just blasts through it, almost hits like one of the like flagmen or whatever you call them, and then it keeps driving, and it's like the cop car just swerves off.
No, this isn't like construction yet, because this is the one where remember the car just barely passes the truck, and then the policeman like swerves into the truck.
No, that's after this one.
Well, this one isn't the construction one, because that's the one with the old couple.
No, that's after.
No,
because he flies off and then hits the old couple afterwards, like as he's off road.
Well, no, because that's not this one though. I can't remember which one this one is, but it's like because there's the construction, then he veers off, and then
the part where he slams into where one of the cops slams into the truck, and then the car like hits the boat, is after the old couple.
Because I don't have the construction thing until way later. It's not now at all.
Construction thing is before old couple.
No, because the old couple are like, because the cop, remember after this crash scene, one of the cops gives chase, but there's an explosion, and then one of the cops gives chase, and that's the one that follows him through the construction zone, and then that's when like the old couple and.
But this isn't the one with the boat.
I don't know which one this is, but it's not the construction one. It's not the one with the boat.
Which one is it?
I don't know, because like there's more cops. I know there's more explosions, and then there's one more explosion. There's 2 explosions. I got it in my notes. And then the cop that eventually gets the old couple gives chase on this one. Yeah. But it's not the old couple one.
I don't know. I don't fucking know.
At least that's the notes I took, because this is not the construction one yet.
Then which one is it?
Which
one is it?
I don't know, but I know there's 2 explosions. And like...
Oh, wait, this is where they have the roadblock.
Oh, yeah, duh.
And it fucking hits, and he hits the roadblock, and the cops just... the cars just explode.
Why did it take us so long to figure that one out?
Because the scene lasts like 5 seconds. He hits like the cops' cars in the roadblock, and they just, on impact, explode.
And we get one more explosion.
But then, like, after that first explosion... there's another one.
Mm-hmm. And then one of the cops gets in his car and chases
And
him.
then the remaining one gives chase.
And this is the one that's going to be at the construction site.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm glad we figured that one out.
This is the one that
I
gets...
was like, I swear to God, there's one more that
There's
we're
an
missing.
explosion.
There's an explosion. I swear to God.
The missing explosion.
Sorry, I just had to clear that up for a minute. Okay, so now the doctor is talking to the woman.
She still has no memory.
And she has no memory of what happened. And
but she feels like... For some reason, she's saying that she feels secure now.
Right.
She just feels safe, and that she doesn't mind like not remembering.
She like maybe is playing with the idea that maybe it's better if she doesn't remember.
But the doctor gets a phone call from the anthropologist and saying that I know someone who knows about these things.
Yes.
I'll give you his like contact information. And he goes there, and guess who?
It's the fucking asshole.
It's the old douchebag. And he's looking at it, and he's taking off this stuff and saying like someone encased this in ceramic, and it like lessened the value. But he doesn't know quite yet.
Yes.
But the doctor does end up telling him, because he asks him like, "Why are you so interested in this?" And he tells him that, well, there was this woman who crashed, and we found her and she was found in the cliffs, and she was clutching this thing, and he knows.
Yep.
That it's her. And then he tells him like, can I keep this for a couple of days?
I'll keep you updated on what I find on it,
Yeah.
but I need to inspect it for a couple more days while he comes up with a plan of how to kill her. So
now we get the old couple and the billboard.
Yes, now we get your the construction zone.
So the car smashes through a construction zone, almost hits one of the workers, and the cop is following it the whole time, and he ends up like swerving off and just smashing
through a billboard,
flying down the cliff, but he's fine for
yes.
now.
And then the car passes this old couple, and they
so we get during this we get shots of this old couple bickering about like directions
and if they're gonna get to a place on time.
The guy is wearing like he has like a towel wrapped on the very top of his head, and the woman is wearing a hat.
It's a young woman
with a wig,
wearing an old
old lady
gray wig and an old hat. Like it's a young woman pretending to be an old woman,
and an actual old dude wearing a towel on his head. You know what?
Okay,
it's fine.
Fine.
But they're bickering, and he's like, I'll find it.
So the car, the personless car, drives past them, and they veer off the road and like lose control.
They get stuck, and they're like, we're gonna call the police. We're gonna talk to the police about this. And he's like trying to start the car.
Well, and they're like stopped directly under this like mound of dirt.
And they're like, we're gonna call the cops. We're gonna tell them about this car, but they can't start the car.
And it shows like the cop like driving through the dirt.
So as he's like saying all this, we start hearing sirens getting closer and closer, and we're like, oh shit.
I'm like, are they gonna do it?
They did it. The cop drives over the mound, smashes into the car like where the drivers are, and there's these dummies. Just smashes into them
down, and then it just stalls on the hill.
It's awesome.
That's fucking awesome.
It's fucking great. And so the guy gets his fucking idol from the guy.
Yeah, and like, he keeps it for a while. And then like he's like, so it shows that fisheye thing again, and it shows like
it's looking around.
It's looking around the professors, the assholes, like room.
So then we get, we see like a brief shot of the woman in her bed at the nurse's house.
Yes.
And she's like shaking. We don't know what's going on yet.
Now we should mention also before, kind of important, when the doctor left gave the statuette to the professor, he attached, because it had magnetic properties, he attached it to his electric wheelchair.
Yeah.
It becomes important in this scene.
Yes, he didn't know that it would fuck things up.
So
but he does.
Girl starts shaking, like sweating profusely.
And the guy, and it cuts to the guy in his bed, and his dog is next to the bed, and he just gets up and starts barking.
He starts barking like erratically at something.
And he like gets up and looks at the door, and he hears something. And a fucking wheelchair just, I'm not joking, smashes
through the door.
Through the fucking door.
His electric wheelchair just smashes through the door.
And starts fighting the dog.
Now, I do love this scene, too, because he looks at the electric wheelchair, and, like, split seconds, he sees, like, the girl in her full demonic form.
On the wheelchair.
In the wheelchair.
But as, like, the wheelchair is fighting his fucking dog, we see it's being controlled by the woman.
Yeah,
with her fucking red eyes.
Because she's like ramming it into the dog.
Like getting her revenge.
Because she's sitting fully up in the bed and just ramming this electric wheelchair.
Getting her revenge.
And the dog tries to run off, and it like hits it, and then just like keeps just going back and forth and just hitting it.
And
over
it kills
and over.
it, and then like it's just keeps running into it, and then it turns and starts going after the guy.
So he grabs his crutches and like kind of fights it off, and like hits the idol off.
He ends up knocking the idol off, and as he knocks it off, it like, it stops moving.
Yes.
So he knows. And by the way, and after this, the nurse like walks in and sees her. And is freaked out like at what she saw.
And she calls the doctor, but he doesn't get there until after she's out of her like the demonic state.
Yeah.
And he's like, what is wrong? Like I don't get like what's going on.
But then after this, we get the awesome stunt. We get a cop again, another Goomba.
We should also mention the asshole guy buries his dog and then says says something to the statue. I can't remember.
He looks at it and it's like, it was you, wasn't it?
Yep.
And
now we get the
awesome stunt.
Yes.
Another cop is chasing the car, and
I love how all the car scenes start with the cop chasing the car.
There's some Goomba thinks he'll finally be the one to do it.
Yes.
And so it's this Goomba's turn. He chases it, and they're going. We see like this truck pulling out. And it like the personless car drives past it, misses it,
barely misses it,
but it doesn't stop in time, and the cop like swerves and like crashes like sideways, kind of like where half of his car is like under the truck,
and then like a station wagon hits him, and then another car hits him.
But that station wagon had like a hitch with a boat,
and then like the person behind the station wagon veers up the ramp on the hitch
and launches the boat and himself into the fucking truck. All for real.
Dude. Is great.
All one shot. It's awesome.
Slow-mo and everything.
But after, and then it goes back to the woman, and she's saying that she's like starting to remember. She remembers being attacked by a dog.
Yes.
She's starting to slowly remember things.
So he mentions that she's going to have the reconstructive surgery soon, and that he's going to go get her keys back, basically.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to, like, because she like, has a fondness for the keychain. She wants it back.
So he goes and gets the keychain back.
And, like, the expert's kind of just saying the same thing, like, I'd really like to meet this woman, like, if you could bring her over and stuff, and the doctor's like, I don't know if that's a good idea.
Yeah.
And, like,
But we know what he wants.
Yep.
He wants to see her so he can fucking kill her.
So then we get another cop.
This time it's a motorcycle Goomba.
Yep, so the motorcycle Goomba has, like, someone pulled over, and the personless car drives by.
So he gets on his fucking motorcycle, chases it, and there's, like, this, like, gas station. And all these cars just happen to converge, and they all crash into each other.
Yep, because the car just, like, swerves through them, and they all, like, try and avoid it, but they end up crashing into each other.
And an explosion happens.
And then the cop, like, kind of loses control.
And he, like, jumps over the cars, but then, as he approaches the gas station, he, like, falls over.
And his motorcycle slides into the gas station.
As the cop, the stuntman, like, hits a fucking barrel, and then an explosion happens.
The biggest explosion in the whole movie.
And then another explosion. And another.
Because the gas station doesn't just explode once. It explodes 3 times. Each explosion gets bigger and bigger as it goes.
It just combines. The gas station just blows the fuck up. It's awesome. But they're about to go. The lady's about to go with the nurse to like get the reconstructive surgery. And
the asshole calls her up.
So, first, the nurse is like, hey, I have to go somewhere really quick. I'll be back in like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And we get a fucking... Is this the recap?
Not yet. Because remember, so like the...
Okay, oh yeah, so she gets a phone call.
The asshole guy calls... He's trying to call the doctor, but he really wants to get a hold of her.
And then she answers the phone, and he's like, oh, are you the... He's like saying, like, well, I need to talk to the doctor about the idol. And she's like, oh, that's me. That's my idol.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh.
It's like, oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll come pick you up. We have a lot to talk about.
There's something I really want to tell you about this.
And the doctor will meet us in a while.
So he
said
goes.
He's on his way over.
Yeah. So he drives over.
We should also mention the detective wants the keys because they found the car.
They found the car
in the desert, and they want the keys to see if it's the right car.
So they're like towing it to like a junkyard or whatever, or the impound lot, and he wants to get the keys.
Yep.
So that's why the doctor's not there, is because he's giving him the keys.
So the asshole drives to the woman's house, well, where the woman is staying.
He picks her up, and they start driving home, and he's asking her, like, do you remember anything? Like, blah, blah, blah. I see you had a wedding ring on, like, all this stuff, but you're not wearing it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of, like, making these little digs at her.
Right.
And they get there, and he kind of, like, shows her this house. She's like, oh, it's a really beautiful house. He's like, yeah, my wife hated it, though.
Not as much as she hated me.
Yeah, just, like, saying all these things. And he's like, here's something I really want to show you.
Goes to the sauna.
And he's like, this is all she ever wanted was a sauna.
Yep.
And she's just like, oh, yeah, that's really impressive. That's really luxurious.
And then all of a sudden he's like, you really don't remember me, do you? And she's like, well...
Because even before this, he says, like, let's go to the house, Kim.
Yeah.
And she's like, why did you call me Kim? He's
like,
oh, I don't know.
Maybe you remind me of someone.
Yeah.
And then so he's like, you don't remember me, do you? And he's like, I had my dog is the one that attacked you and made you crash.
Yeah.
And then he like goes all crazy and then just shoves her in the sauna.
Turns up the temperature
closes
all the way.
door, cranks the heat, and like is hoping to kill her, like just by heating her to death.
And it cuts to the cops like towing. They've towed the car back to like the impound lot or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and they get there. And we already like knew that what was going to happen.
Right.
So the cop like gets in the car, puts in the key, starts it, sees the car is working, turns it off.
Well, I love the doctor like even like mentions something like, well, like kind of feels like it's just gonna jump out at you.
Yeah, he just looks at it as just like uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And the other cop starts the car, sees it's fine, turns it off, gets out.
But it keeps the keys in the ignition.
And they pull up like the registration, and they see it's the woman, but her last name is the exact same as the fucking idol expert that he was talking to.
So the doctor knows instantly.
So he knows something's up, and he is like he leaves, and then the car starts up.
Because like the idol like magnetizes to a metal part in the car, and then the key turns.
It turns, and the fucking the parking brake goes off, and the car just drives the fuck off, and we already know. And then we cut back to the woman with her red eyes, and essentially, so the whole time during the movie, I was just thinking like, my theory was that it was like two different timelines.
Yes.
Because we saw her crash the fucking car, but then we keep seeing like this car driving to the city and fucking just destroying everything in its way.
Right, but it has like dents, and we thought it was just from like
No.
it crashing into cars, but the dents are from...
It was also from that.
Yeah.
But it also had previous dents. But also, because I was just thinking like, there's no way, like, because it's obviously her car that she
Right.
crashed. How the fuck is it driving? Well,
Here we go.
this is why, because this is now the timeline converging.
Now both timelines are at the same point, so she's controlling this car going to where she is.
And we get a recap of all the fucking explosions and car crashes.
I mean, which is great because like if I made that cool of crash scenes,
Yeah.
I'd want to show them over again too.
It's fucking hilarious. Because we get a recap, and then it keeps going, and then eventually it's present day. It's
Yes.
present time, and now it's in the city. And guess what? There's even more crashes.
Oh, God, yeah.
Because now there's like a random dude, a random pedestrian who just gets swerved off the road and flips over a car and jumps over like 5 cars and just smashes into one.
Yeah, but I love it. It's all in slow-mo, and you can see each of the windshields, like, exploding.
Because it's like hitting the
As
top.
It, like, he hits each one of them, and then just smashes into the top of one of them.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's awesome.
And then the car's driving through, like, this, like, really busy downtown area, and everyone's crashing into each other.
And then, like, we get all these cars crashing. It's awesome.
And then they crash, and the cop, like, veers over one of them and, like, crashes into another top of another car.
Oh, yeah.
I was just like, damn.
And then we get the doctor he's talking to the nurse, and he tells her, like, it's fine. Like, don't blame yourself for her disappearing. But he knows that she's going there. So he tells the cops, like, I want everyone to meet here.
Right, and he even gets a hold of the detective, and it's like, hey, like, head to this location because I think something's gonna happen.
And then we see the asshole. He's rehearsing his alibi to himself.
Foolproof.
It's foolproof.
It's foolproof. Like, I'm just gonna say, like, he's like basically going over how he's gonna say she was distraught,
and basically how she went on a drive with the dog, and then the dog attacked her. And then all this stuff, and he found out it was her, and they had a reunion, and she went to the sauna and just, like...
basically killed herself. Committed suicide.
But, as he's reciting this, we hear the car engine, like, rum, rum.
I will admit, like, they chose a really effective, like, car, because it almost sounds like it's growling.
It has that... Okay, it's like a... I think it's a 70s Camaro, but it's those old 70s muscle cars, so they have that, like, engine noise, that, like, fucking, like, growling noise.
Yeah.
So when it approaches his house, you hear the fucking, like, wow, 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 and he just, like, gets his fucking shotgun.
And he, like, goes outside and sees the car's just waiting for him.
It's just chilling, and it drives at him. He shoots it, and it starts, like, swerving around him. He shoots it some more, and it, like, stalls out. And he just, like, fucking makes his way.
He leaves into, like, the desert.
Desperately trying to fucking outrun this fucking thing.
But this car, like, it suddenly, like, she, like, you see her in the sauna, and she, like, springs to life again. And, like, the car, like, jolts forward and, like, starts driving.
Following him, like, stalking him.
Yes.
Through, like, the wilderness at night. And the doctor gets her. He's looking for her.
And, like, car is, like, stalking him through the desert. Like, it's just, like, following him slowly.
And eventually, like, he's at, like, the top of, like, a little hill. And the car just, like,
pushes
rams him.
Yeah, pushes him into, like...
So he, like, falls off his wheelchair and falls in a ditch. The doctor finds her in the sauna and, like, opens the door and sees her eyes all crazy.
And then she goes for the fucking killing blow.
We see the car, like, pull away. And then the guy's, like, in the fucking ditch just, like... And
then the car just... like, you hear the car rev up, and then it just goes over the hill, lands on the guy. Well, it doesn't show him landing on the guy, but it lands in the ditch, and then
explodes.
Just explodes.
And as it explodes, the woman, like comes out of it.
Snaps out of it, and the doctor's like, like, well, come on, like, here, I'll help you. And, like, they go off, and they go off screen. And then the last shot of the movie
is the car on fire.
The car on fire. And then roll credits.
Roll funk. Smooth funk jazz.
God damn. God damn. I love practical car crash scenes.
It's all for real.
I love it. It looks so cool. Like the glass exploding everywhere. Like
real explosions.
Just so fun.
The dummies. I love it all.
So you had mentioned something, and I really agree with you on this. This is like playing one of those sandbox, like, car racing games.
Yeah, it reminds me of playing, like, Grand Theft Auto growing up.
Or, like, the Burnout series.
Yeah.
Where you could just crash into everything.
And make, like, insane car crashes and stunts.
Like, yeah, like pile-ups and stuff. It reminded me of playing a game, and it kind of made me nostalgic.
Yeah.
Like,
100%.
For some reason, like, I just got really nostalgic, and I had just a fucking blast with this movie.
This is a lot of fun.
Like, it is so fun to watch. Like, say what you will about, like, the act. I didn't think the acting was bad.
It's not bad.
I didn't think anything was necessarily bad in this movie, But it's fun. Like it makes up for everything that I would have thought was bad about this movie by making it just a blast to watch.
It's fun.
Because there's car crashes every like
Yeah.
probably like every like 5 minutes there's a car crash.
Well,
They don't stop. They don't slow down at all.
it's that one word. Fun.
Yes.
Do you know, like, you remember fun?
Yeah.
Can you imagine, like, watching a B movie and having fun?
It's weird.
Fun!
Like
It doesn't, you know what the best part is, though? It doesn't waste your fucking time.
No, there's no padding. It's literally just crash. Something happens with the statuette. Crash. Something happens with like the woman. Crash. Something happens with the doctor. Crash. Something happens with the professor. Like it's all just like
Every scene is like,
every scene has content.
it's only, again, the movie's only like 88 minutes long.
Yes.
So you're already like winning because it's short. It doesn't waste your fucking time, and each scene goes somewhere.
Compared to
There's
the
a
last
purpose.
one we watched where
The last one was only 60 minutes.
and they padded it out.
And it felt like an hour longer than this.
It was horrendous.
This is great.
I love this movie. I would have like if I like was in 1976 and went to see this at like a B movie theater, I would be so happy.
Dude, I'd be happy as a pig in shit
Yeah.
to see this.
It's fucking awesome.
Because
You get car crashes, you get explosions, you get weird demonic shit.
Oh,
you
yeah.
Get, like cult stuff. You get like it's so good.
you get a fucking bad guy who gets his fucking comeuppance.
Yes.
Satisfaction. It's satisfying. That's what this is.
Final thought, just fun. I agree with you 100%. Just
It's
it's
fun.
fun. It's entertaining as hell.
I just like you know, sometimes like you're bored and you find some like nonsense to watch streaming or whatever, and you know you see something schlocky and you're like, oh whatever, I'll just have some fun, and then you watch it and it's like some boring garbage where nothing fucking happens, or if anything happens it's all shitty CGI and it's just boring and it wastes your fucking time. And then you watch this
And it's fun.
and it's all for real and it's fun.
I love when you like just go and watch a random B movie and you're like, this is gonna be shit, and then you watch it and you're just like, oh, that was really actually like entertaining.
Yeah.
And like, you know, like made me like actually have like a lot of fun watching it. I didn't even care about the runtime. I was just like, you know what?
Well, it's only
awesome.
It's only 88 minutes.
Yeah.
It's slim. They trim the fat off of it.
There's only meat here.
It's all meat.
Oh my god. Like, thank you, Crash, for like revitalizing
I think
76.
all of you should watch this movie. Now, you have to pay for it. You can rent it on Amazon.
I would go as far as to say I would own this movie.
This is fun. It's worth owning.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's on Blu-ray because it's fucking. I mean, it's HD. The one we watched is in HD.
And it actually was good. I'm glad I like stretched for the SD.
Hey, you fucking
I mean the HD.
go on Amazon, rent this movie. It's 88 minutes. Just fucking
Have friends there.
Enjoy.
Like, just watch it. If you like car crashes, if you like explosions,
Do you want to see a douchebag get his fucking comeuppance
this is your
from
movie.
his battered wife? This is it. She fucks him up.
She lands a car on top of him and it explodes.
It's
It's
satisfying.
fucking awesome.
It's satisfying.
So now it's that time, and I think this one might be a little too obvious. Shitty to pretty.
I'll let you go first.
So I don't know if I give it a perfect 10. I was going to.
I might. I don't know.
I don't know. Like,
I really want to.
I can't think of reasons why I wouldn't.
I'm trying to think of a reason why I wouldn't.
But, like, I would say if I was going to give it a lower rating, I would say I'd probably only go as low as, like, an 8. But, like, honestly, like, fuck it, 10.
You know what?
Like, I liked this movie. It's entertaining as hell. It's really fun. Like, it just reminds me of, like, when movies didn't have to fucking have, like, a really, like, existential plot or anything. And they just have
It's
a
not
simple
that. It's not
plot.
that. It's movies that just they don't waste your fucking time.
Yeah, they just fucking, here you go. Here's a bunch of car crashes and a bunch of explosions. Have fun.
That's it. That's all you needed. And you know what? Because I can't think of any like.
There's nothing I hated here.
I can't think of any reason to like dock this down. I'm gonna give it a fucking 10.
Yeah.
Fuck it. I've been giving them out. Well, we've been giving them out a lot this year.
76 has been fucking awesome. Like, there's a lot of 10s here. Like, there's movies that don't deserve to be on this podcast. It's kind of unfair.
Just watch this and Psychic Killer, and you'd have a sick ass double feature.
Yeah.
Both of these.
Oh hell yeah.
I think these both have their weird ass similarities. Like, you know what? Just don't B movie magic. Fun.
Yeah, that's
Can
all.
you imagine?
That's all B movies need to be. They don't need. They're B movies. They don't need to be like this smart, clever thing. They just need to be fun.
Just don't waste your audience's time.
The main purpose of these movies is to entertain people, and
Yes.
my God, they did it in this movie.
Yes, and people making these movies got it. They don't waste your fucking time with bullshit and pointless shit.
Like the fact that, like, literally, like,
There's an explosion in the first 2 fucking minutes.
Yeah, and then there's another explosion, like, maybe, like, not even 5 minutes after that.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, it does not stop. There is crash, 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 explosion.
Before you
explosion.
even know what the fuck is happening, the movie throws an explosion at you.
Like, I was reading the trivia. This is badass. Charles Band, the director, he, like, apparently he got in really big trouble with the Department of Motor Vehicles because he bought so many old cars and just destroyed them.
And it's on screen.
And it's there. Like, they're all getting destroyed.
The results are right there on screen, and it's beautiful.
It's effective. It's just, like, final thing. I can't help it, but it's just fun.
It's fun. I love it.
Like, I love this movie.
I'm sorry. It's just like there's no way I wouldn't. I love car chases.
Right.
And it's car chases and there's like horror elements. It can't lose.
No.
It's like Vanishing Point if you added some horror shit.
Yeah, it's like Vanishing Point if you made it a horror movie, basically.
That's it. Like,
that's all you need.
And they did it. They pulled it off, and you know what? Bless them.
I will admit, I want to say this before we conclude. The fucking poster is absolutely insane, but it is the most, like, real poster that represents the movie that I've ever seen.
We'll put the poster up.
We will, but, like, the poster actually represents exactly what happens in the fucking movie. There's no shortcuts here.
So does the title.
Yeah, because that's all that happens. Crash after crash after crash after crash. So, thank you, Charles Band. Thank you, 1976. This has been a great year.
This is lit.
We only got a few more movies left.
Yeah, we do.
And then we gotta, do our typical thing.
The best, worst, and yeah.
Dude, I think I already know some of mine. Like, I already know the worst of the worst.
Oh, that's easy.
I'm not gonna reveal it right now, but you guys can probably guess what it fucking is.
Yeah,
dude, it's if you think about it, it's fucking easy.
I don't have to think about it.
No, I mean, listeners, if they think about it, just think about what movie we felt the most dead reviewing.
Don't even think about thinking about this fucking movie, but we will tell you.
Yes. Oh man, I don't know if is there any more news?
Nah. We're fuck it. We're done.
We Gucci?
We done. We're fucking done.
Okay. All right.
Go fucking go get off this fucking podcast.
Go watch Crash.
Crash.
Anyway, for They Mostly Come Out at Night, this has been Will.
This is Alex.
And we will talk to you all later.
Bye.
I'm serious. Go watch Crash.
Watch it
right now.
Watch
Go
it.
pay $2.99. No, fuck it. Pay the HD. Go pay $3.99. Watch this fucking movie. Have a bunch of friends with you and have a good time. Okay.
Watch it.
Thank you.
Watch it.